Russian soldiers targeted by drones. Mine traps on the roads. Destruction of the Russian tank T-80 by drones. Ukrainian artillery attack on Russian vehicles. Failed operations. Destroyed vehicles. FPV drone attacks. Desperate Russian soldiers. Stay tuned for more. June 17th, 2025. South of the village of Bahatia, Donetsk region, 2 Russian soldiers traveling at high speed on a motorcycle hit a remotely planted mine. One of them was injured and fled into a wooded area. FPV drones of the 33rd Mechanized Brigade were launched for the fleeing Russian soldier. The Russian soldier was hit by the FPV drone and lost his life. Russian soldiers carrying a wounded soldier to a vehicle attacked by Ukrainian forces. Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drone begins attack on Russian soldiers. Russian soldiers shoot to shoot down an incoming drone, but fail to do so. The drone directly targets the vehicle with the soldiers. This mistake in an open terrain causes a great loss to Russian soldiers. You can support us by liking and commenting on the video. June 18th, 2025. Ukrainian 225. A separate attack battalion is attacking the Russian soldiers he identified near the village of Andriivka in the Sumy region with drones. Russian soldiers are trying to escape in fear and panic when the attack began. Injured and exhausted, they're trying to move towards the nearest forested area. They are all being eliminated by drones. The Russian soldier who begged for his life when he noticed the Ukrainian FPV drone, despite all his efforts, could not avoid being targeted by the drone. The Russian soldier had completely given up and was waiting for the drone to arrive. June 16th, 2025. An FPV kamikaze operator of the Ukrainian 3rd Assault Brigade skillfully struck the artillery hatch of a T-90M tank, completely destroying it along with the Russian soldiers inside. A Russian armored vehicle moving rapidly towards Ukrainian defense positions was detected by reconnaissance drones of the Azov troops. Before the Russian armored vehicle was allowed to advance further, a FPV drone attack was carried out. Russian soldiers got out of the vehicle, which was heavily damaged despite its outer armor, and started to flee. But there are not many places to hide in this terrain. Ukrainian kamikaze drones chased the Russian infantry. June 16th, 2025. In the Kharkiv region, the Ukrainian border guard unit Phoenix destroyed 4 Russian motorcycles, 2 IFVs, a car, an MT-12 cannon, a Mavic UAV, and eliminated about 10 Russian soldiers. Ukrainian forces ambushed the roads with drones, driving many Russian troops out of the area. The high explosive bombs carried by the drones do not give the Russian infantry a chance to escape. June 19th, 2025. The Ukrainian 35th Marine Brigade spotted a Russian vehicle near the village of Horokov in the Donetsk region. The vehicle carrying Russian soldiers was shot down by Ukrainian forces with an FPV drone. The first hit from the drone seriously injured the Russian soldiers, and some got out of the vehicle and fled. A final kamikaze attack was made on the Russian vehicle, completely destroying it. June 15th, 2025. Russian forces attacked Ukrainian defense positions with armored vehicles, but the operation did not go as planned. Ukrainian artillery began to hit Russian armored vehicles with pinpoint accuracy. The Russian troops were thrown into chaos by the incessant attacks of the Ukrainian artillery. One by one, all vehicles were destroyed by Ukrainian artillery. Many armored infantry carriers and assault vehicles were destroyed. After the artillery inflicted great damage to Russian armored vehicles, drones delivered the final blow. While all the vehicles continued to be blown up, Russian soldiers preferred to get out of the vehicles and escape to the trees. But they were met by FPV drone attacks. Russian forces lost many infantry and military vehicles in this operation. June 19, 2025. Early in the morning, Ukrainian soldiers of the 63rd Mechanized Brigade launched an attack on a Russian trench in the direction of Lyman. First, a kamikaze drone flew directly into the Russian trench and exploded. Two Ukrainian infantrymen started advancing towards the Russian trenches. Throwing grenades at Russian soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers are trying to keep Russian soldiers under intense attack. Russian soldiers inside are on the counter-attack. Ukrainian soldiers, taking advantage of air support, are putting devastating pressure on Russian troops. Finally, a Russian soldier says he wants to surrender and slowly walks out. As soon as the first soldier leaves the trench, the second Russian soldier comes out to surrender. Ukrainian soldiers are cautious. The Russian soldiers calmly drop their weapons and lie down. Two Russian soldiers were taken prisoner, but there were 3 soldiers in the trench. One soldier lost his life. Russian troops are trying to fight in these remote areas for months without logistical support. As a result, they have no choice but to surrender. June 18, 2025. Ukrainian Apache strike group attacks Russian targets with kamikaze drones. Russian soldier spots a Ukrainian drone and makes moves to dodge bombs dropped on him. This time, kamikaze drones are sent to the Russian soldier who survived the bombs. A Russian soldier is shot down by a kamikaze drone after tripping and falling to the ground. The Russian soldier loses his life. Russian soldiers on motorcycles are also shot down by the drone. A Russian armored BMP vehicle also tries to evade a FPV drone. It takes a serious damage at the first impact. The second attack shows a wounded Russian soldier on top of the vehicle. He did not manage to escape. The abandoned house where Russian soldiers were hiding is also destroyed by drones. June 18, 2025. Nowhere is safe anymore. A Ukrainian fiber optic drone of the 68th Jaeger Brigade searched an entire building for a Russian soldier. After a thorough search inside the building, he reached the area where the Russian soldier was found. First, their clothes and belongings were identified. Then the Russian soldier, sleeping on the ground, was shot by the drone. Ukraine's 109th Territorial Defense Brigade in pursuit of a Russian soldier with FPV drone. Unaware of the FPV drone coming from behind, the Russian soldier is shot by the drone. June 17th, Ukrainian forces launched a major operation against the Russian army near the villages of Berezove and Olenivka in the Donetsk region. In the operation, which involved a large number of kamikaze drones, UAV operators hit 3 Russian trucks, a tractor, a Yastreb counter-battery radar station, and shot down a Russian scat drone. Ukrainian FPV drone pilots target key armored vehicles belonging to Russian forces on logistics routes. Military vehicles worth millions of dollars are destroyed in just a few seconds by FPV kamikaze drone attack. Here is the FPV kamikaze drone Yastreb Av radar system is targeting. Yastreb Av is considered the Russian Army's most advanced radar complex used to find enemy artillery ignition poses. June 16, 2025. Muramasa unit of the 109th TDF Brigade continues its mission in the direction of Kostiantynivka, striking Russian infantry and light vehicles with Wild Hornets FPV drones. Drone strikes show most Russian soldiers riding motorcycles in the field. In this difficult Ukrainian terrain, the Russian army aimed to create motorized military units to move more easily on the terrain. But on the contrary, they became easy open targets for drones. Ukrainian forces continue to intensify their use of FPV drones to target Russian troops across multiple sectors of the front line. These drones, equipped with high explosive warheads and guided by real-time video, are being used to strike enemy positions, trenches, vehicles, and even individual soldiers with deadly precision. In recent operations, dozens of Russian positions were identified and neutralized by Ukrainian drone operators. Tanks, armored personnel carriers, and supply vehicles were destroyed before they could reach the front. Footage shows Russian soldiers attempting to hide or flee as drones hunt them down in open terrain and inside trenches. The psychological impact is clear. Movement is restricted, morale is shaken, and command structures are under constant pressure. These attacks not only cause significant material losses, but also slow down Russian advances and disrupt battlefield coordination.